So, Alec, another question I get quite a lot is abrading. People call it keying, denibbing. Do we need to do it, and what stage in the Bona system do we do this?
Traditionally, this was quite an important step in the proceedings because, especially water-based primer, it's going to raise the grain of the timber. So as the liquid soaks into the timber fibres, they swell and they become more pronounced. And it makes sense, in my mind, to remove this additional texture as early as possible. And for this, what traditionally Bona would recommend is the Bona scrad pad. This was used with a separate piece of abrasive, a triangular 150 grit piece of abrasive onto this 320 abrasive pad. But we can actually use this on its own. It's abrasive enough to reduce the texture of the prime timber. So that's one school of thought, to remove the texture as early as possible so we've got a smoother surface, and when we apply our top coats we're going to optimise the thickness of each coat. It's not going to soak into the wood.
So we're mainly removing grain rays when we're keying or denibbing?
In this scenario, absolutely. Where this is undesirable is where we're using these pigment containing primers that I mentioned, because we've lightened the colour of the bare wood by using the primer, and if we abrade then that surface, there's a risk of exposing some bare wood, and then the top coat will soak in these areas and give a contrasting colour to the one we're after from the primers. So in that case, most of the time we wouldn't abrade the primer coat. That would be my rule of thumb. If I'm using the Bona White or the Bona Natural, we don't abrade that and we go on with the first top coat. If the first top coat is still showing some texture, we're able to abrade that very easily, either, again, using a scrad pad. We can use the diamond abrasives, grit 120, or we could use a sanding screen, so more traditional materials. Other uses for this fine sanding, it would be part of the process where coats are left for prolonged periods of time for drying before they're recoated. So we say with most of our products, if a coat is left for longer than 24 hours, then it must receive a light sand before the subsequent coat's applied. And this is then to optimise the adhesion between the coats more than removing any texture. Although, of course, it does serve to remove any imperfections that we may have in that existing coat. So perhaps some debris blown onto the floor, pet hairs, whatever.
Perfect. So really, realistically, we don't need to denib or abrade it unless it's been after 24 hours of it being put down to give us that mechanical key, and if we feel that we've got some grain ways that we want to remove.
Exactly.
Okay.